The Galaxy S26 Ultra is shaping up to be a very interesting phone, but not for the reason you might think. Rumors suggest it's getting faster RAM, and while that sounds impressive, it's not really a feature most people will notice. The Galaxy S25 Ultra is already lightning fast. Shaving a few milliseconds off app load times won't change much for everyday use. You'll still open Instagram, YouTube, or your camera almost instantly, just like before, but here's where things get interesting. This RAM upgrade might not be about speed at all. If the leaks are true, Samsung could be switching to a new generation of RAM that's physically thinner. And in smartphone design, every millimeter counts. That extra space inside the phone could be used for something much more exciting, like a bigger battery. Let's break it down. The S26 Ultra is expected to move from LPDDR5X RAM made with Micron's 1 beta or 1 beta process to a new 1 gamma or 1 gamma generation. On paper, that boosts RAM speed from 9.6 GBps to 10.7 GBps. Sounds nice, but the real benefit isn't just speed. The 1 process makes the RAM chip smaller, more efficient, and thinner, about 0.61 millimeters thick compared to the older version. That might not sound like much, but in smartphone engineering, it's a big deal. Even a small size reduction can free up space for other hardware, like a larger vapor chamber for cooling, bigger camera parts, or, the best option for most people, a bigger battery. And it doesn't stop there. This one RAM is rumored to be up to 20% more energy efficient than the previous generation. That means the S26 Ultra could not only have a bigger battery, but also drain it more slowly, giving you more time between charges. Now, let's be real, chasing RAM speed alone isn't very exciting anymore. The S25 Ultra already opens apps in a blink. The difference between 9.6 and 10.7 GBps won't matter unless you're editing huge video files or running intense AI tasks. For most users, you wouldn't notice any change at all in daily use. But efficiency, that's a different story. We've reached a point where smartphones are already powerful enough for pretty much anything. Now, the real challenge is making them last longer. A bigger battery plus more efficient components could give you an upgrade you actually feel every day. Samsung's Ultra models have been stuck at 5,000 mAh batteries for years, while some Chinese brands have gone beyond 6,000 mAh. Those phones can last insanely long on a single charge. Imagine if the S26 Ultra could move in that direction, lasting not just 1 day, but comfortably 2 days for moderate use. That would truly change how you use your phone. And this is why the unnecessary RAM upgrade suddenly makes sense. On its own, faster RAM is just a bragging point for tech specs. But thinner RAM that allows for a bigger battery and uses less power? That's a practical, everyday benefit. Most people won't think about it, but they'll definitely feel it. Think about the convenience. Instead of charging every night, you could wake up on day 2 and still have enough battery to get through until bedtime. No more hunting for outlets when you're out, and you might even leave your charger at home for short trips. That's the kind of upgrade you actually notice. Samsung is also facing tough competition in battery life. Some rivals have already pulled ahead here. If the S26 Ultra can combine its already amazing performance with noticeably better endurance, it could easily become one of the most balanced flagship phones available. So, while super fast RAM might sound like one of the least exciting headlines for a new phone, it could actually lead to one of the S26 Ultra's most useful upgrades. This isn't about topping benchmark charts. It's about making a phone that's more reliable and easier to live with every single day. In the end, nobody was asking for a RAM upgrade. It wasn't on the wish list for most S26 Ultra fans. But if it means you get a bigger battery that lasts longer, then it's absolutely an upgrade worth having. The Galaxy S26 Ultra might not be a radical redesign, but smart engineering changes like this can make a big difference. Sometimes the most valuable improvements aren't the ones you see on a spec sheet, they're the ones you experience in real life, when your phone just keeps going and going. And that's exactly why this boring RAM upgrade might turn out to be one of the S26 Ultra's smartest moves yet.